Bill Merchant, historian and curator here at the D&H Canal Historical Society. Our museum here at 23 Mohunk Road in High Falls will be closed in 2 years, so we've created the virtual museum, short 3 to 7 minute segments that will tour you through this museum while we still can. I hope you enjoy. On today's episode of our virtual museum tour, we're going to talk about and look at this lovely painting by William Rickarby Miller. William Rickarby Miller was an Englishman, born in 1818. He immigrated in fact to New York from England in 1844, first settling in Buffalo and then moving to New York City in 1848. He earned his living through portraiture and illustration for books, magazines, and weeklies. He was said to be most proficient at watercolor, but also worked in oil and pen and ink. To my knowledge, this is his only D&H painting. I have seen oil paintings of the Erie Canal, a couple of them that he's painted. They're all really great. We historians love. It's nice to have photographs, but having paintings is we get to see them in color, right? So what you're looking at here is the Roundout Creek. In the center, way out in the distance there, you can see the Shawangum Mountains. And actually, that's a very distinctive prominence right there. That's now all part of the Mohunk Mountain House property, and that's referred to as Skytop. And in the early 20th century, in memory of one of the Smileys, they built a tower that is very distinctive. Today, you would see a tower right at the corner of that high point right there. And down here on the towpath, you get to see there's a hoagie or mule driver with the two animals that were required to pull these 130-ton burden boats after 1850. And there's a woman and a child walking on the towpath. And that was allowed, although at some points it wasn't. In the latter period, for some reason, they stopped letting people use their towpath. Possibly some sort of abuse on their part, huh? And then we've got locks 13 and 14. 13 is the closer one, and there's a boat, I would say, leaving the lock. And there's some animals on both sides there, and you can just see some activity at the further lock 14. These locks were, in the latter period, known as, well, I'm not going to say. Let me put it this way. These are the N-word locks. 12, 13, and 14, so lock 12 would be from this view behind us, were referred to in that latter period as I say, the N-word locks. My surmise is, being on the less settled side of the Roundout Creek here in High Falls, they weren't as desirable. You weren't in the center of the action, if you will, and that it was people of color who manned these three locks. I will be doing research in the future to see if I can verify that surmise from census records and the like. Unacceptable phrase today, but there you have it. Hopefully things change for the better, huh? Lovely to see some animals watering themselves there. Just incredibly well painted. And right, since we're on that left corner, you can see his signature. High Falls on the Roundout Creek, Ulster County, New York, with his signature and that date, July 11th of 1865. This particular painting is slated to be put on display in the Visitor Center. That'll be one part of our wonderful new facility in the Depew Canal House. Speaking of the Canal House, you can sort of make out, let's see if I'll get as close as I can. You can make out the Canal House. It's right there. And in fact, it's right by lock 16. So locks 15 and 16 aren't shown here. Lock 12, as I say, would be pretty much right behind us in this picture. And the other interesting thing is that behind us, there was a feeder dam. All the water from here came from one little stream a couple miles from here. And the next chance they had to water it was just behind here. They put a dam across the Roundout Creek, and as the canal dropped below the creek, they captured that water, a very typical thing. It said that they built canals in river valleys so you'd have a source of water. Quite honestly, of course, too, in a river valley, you could find the longest line or level that you could run without needing a lock. The less locks, the better. But this is a very evocative and wonderful painting that gives you a full color look at what the canal looked like here in High Falls in 1865. Thank you so much for joining us in our virtual tour. New episodes will be put up every week. Hope you enjoy.